Mr. President, I vote no. The night.
My God, have mercy on your decision. I vote yes.
It is for these reasons that I abstain, Mr. President.
For these reasons, I vote yes.
Unang-una, ang boto na no ay hindi nangangahulugan na hindi natin nirerespeto ang pasya o kapangyarihan ng Korte Suprema.
I speak, Mr. President, as someone who's been a legislator for over 2 decades now, together with the Senate President, long enough to know that our fragile democracy rests on the strength of our laws, that our freedoms are given shape by our rules and traditions. And you all know me as a stickler for rules and traditions, together with my minority leader. I have served in both houses, House of Representatives and the Senate, and here in the Senate, being formerly a majority leader, the Senate President, and now your Deputy Minority Leader. In all these roles, Mr. President, I've been conscientious in adhering to the rules and traditions that protect the integrity of our beloved institution. It is in this spirit that I adhere to the Court's decision. My vote today is based on the Supreme Court's decision last July 25, 2025, without prejudice to whatever resolution it may later render on the motion for consideration. That's why I thank the good movement, Mr. President, to allow me to amend or to allow the amendment of his motion to make it a mere archiving of the document, because that will never stop us from being able to pull out that document from the archives. Maraming salamat sa ating mahal na movement, si Senator Marcoleta. Let me just say this, Mr. President, to end my manifestation and my vote. Restraint is not weakness. It is obedience to constitutional order. Let us act not in defiance of, but in deference to the Constitution, to the Supreme Court, and to the people who have entrusted us these powers in this very chamber. Daghan kay salamat sa ako mga kaigsunan, and may God bless us all. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
It is prudent to wait for the results rather than prematurely archiving, if not dismissing, because I know for a fact, once it is archived, it is dead. So what happens if the Supreme Court reverses itself? Clear and blatant errors are present in the ruling of the Supreme Court. First, they misunderstood the legislative process in assuming that the 19th Congress adjourned sine die in February 5. Grave error. Thus, effectively dismissing the first 3 complaints, paving the way for them to say na ano pala, yung 1-year ban binayolate. The archiving of the 3 complaints were done after the initiation of the 4th complaint. The 1-year ban did by placing a hierarchy on the modes to initiate an impeachment complaint. Parang wala na yung 3rd option. Third, the Supreme Court retroactively applied the new definition to the present case in the violation of the doctrine of operative facts, thus voiding as well the impeachment proceedings of former President Estrada and Chief Justice Corona. They did not interpret the Constitution, Mr. President. They amended the Constitution. So lastly, the Supreme Court now has the chance to rectify these errors in its decision. So I was hoping to table the motion so that we can let us afford them this opportunity for the benefit of future impeachment processes and to uphold the clear mandate. And so I will have to register a yes vote. I know it will be a vote in the minority, but I have always voted in the minority in many issues in the Senate since 1992 up to the present. Always prayed I was wrong. Unfortunately, I was always right. My God, have mercy on your decision. I vote yes.
Mr. President, I vote no. The 1987 Constitution entrusted the duty to try and decide all cases of impeachment to the Senate. Today, we are voting to abandon this mandate. I reiterate that the Supreme Court decision is not yet final. Kahit paano mo baliktarin. So, make no mistake, this was an act of the Senate. It is our institution which, in the words of colleagues, killed the articles of impeachment. Ang pinanggagalingan ko lamang po dito, pananagutan. Our people must have the power to make the highest rulers accountable. The process of impeachment is meant to question the powers that be and whether they deserve that power. In short, karapat-dapat ka ba? Hindi po dapat mahirap at teknikal ang impeachment. Taliwas ito sa intent ng framers. It should not be taxing to hold power to account. Anything that will make it easier for a public officer to evade accountability should be opposed. Ang hangad ko sana ay matulungan natin ang isa't isa. Tulungan natin ang ating mga kababayan na sagutin ito ng buo, ng may tapang at ng walang paligoy-ligoy. Madismiss man natin ngayon o ma-archive ang articles of impeachment, mas mahirap i-dismiss o i-archive ang daing ng mga tao sa pananagutan at katarungan. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Without the words immediately executory and the phrase on 25 July 2025, which held, among others, that the articles of impeachment are null and void ab initio and that the Senate did not acquire jurisdiction over the same, I would have voted in favor of the amended motion because I have always maintained that we must respect and not disobey the Supreme Court. But since there's still a pending motion for reconsideration filed by the House of Representatives through the Solicitor General, I believe that the July 25 ruling is by no means final until it rules on the motion for reconsideration with finality. That being said, I would rather wait, not preempt, the final ruling of the High Court. It is for these reasons that I abstain, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Lacson. Mr. Secretary.
Senator Lapid.
Senator Lito Lapid is recognized.
Mr. President, rinirespeto ko po at ginagala ko ang kataas-taasan hukuman. Ang boto ko po ay yes. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Senator Lapid. Secretary.
Senator Legarda.
Senator Lauren Legarda is recognized to explain her vote.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Supreme Court has ruled with clarity. It declared the impeachment complaint not only constitutionally barred, but void from the beginning, and further held that the Senate did not acquire jurisdiction over the matter. This decision, by express pronouncement, is immediately executory. We in the Senate are stewards of the Constitution and the rule of law. Our fidelity must be strongest precisely when institutions are under strain or pressure. To proceed as though the ruling were uncertain or optional would be a departure from our constitutional duty. This manifestation is a commitment to respect the present authority of the Court's decision while remaining open to its final word. I cast my vote without prejudice to the Supreme Court's disposition of the pending motion for reconsideration. The Court speaks, and at times it speaks again. But until it does, the Senate must not act contrary to what it has already said. For these reasons, I vote yes. I honor the decision of the Supreme Court. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Unang-una, ang boto na no ay hindi nangangahulugan na hindi natin nirerespeto ang pasya o kapangyarihan ng Korte Suprema. Lalo-lalo na't hindi pa ito pinal. Wala sa hanay ng mga senador na bumoto ng no ang nagsasabi na hindi dapat respetuhin ang pasya ng Korte Suprema. Hintayin lang ang final decision. Kung tutuusin, kung hinintay lang natin ang final decision, hindi tayo nagpasya at wala tayong ginawa na mga hakbang out of respect dahil nga pending pa. Wala tayong nilabag sa pagiging immediately executory ng desisyon. Kaya kataka-taka kung bakit kailangan magkaroon ng archiving. Pero pasya ito ng mayorya. Mr. President, bumoto tayo ng no dahil naniniwala tayo. Mas mainam sana na hintayin nga ang resolusyon ng motion for reconsideration. Dagdag siyempre dyan ang pagkilala ng prinsipyo ng co-equality sa House of Representatives. Yung interchamber courtesy, yung pagbibigay galang sa isang co-equal, respeto sa isang co-equal. Kaya nais po sana nating i-lay muna yung matter on the table. To vote to archive the complaint despite the MR still pending, I believe, Mr. President, and I believe the others who voted no share this position, is premature, as the ruling may still be reversed or modified.